Hi, I'm Stuart. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for watching my video. In this video I'm going to do the Intimidating TBR Tag. I was tagged by Pat at Book Chat by Pat 8668. I'm just going to repeat what Pat said about the video. This is the Intimidating TBR Tag. I'm not aware of the original creators of this tag. My apologies. If you created this tag, please let me know and I will credit you. Pat was tagged by Justin at TriumphalReads and by Tristan at Tristan Books. There are 10 prompts to this tag. The first prompt is, what book have you been unable to finish? There's a lot of books that I didn't finish. I just put them down and never picked them up, but it wasn't a conscious decision that I didn't to not finish them, so I'm not going to talk about those. One fairly recent book is Mr. Magic by Kirsten White. It was a Libby borrow. I read 53% of it, and for reasons I don't fully understand, I just couldn't get myself to read any more of it because I was liking it to that point. I ended up returning it to Libby a few days before it was due. I may at some point borrow it and read the remainder of it. The second prompt is, what book have you yet to read because you just haven't had the time? There are too many to mention, so I'm just going to list the 3 books that I most want to read that I haven't got to yet. One of them is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Another is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. And the third is Bunny by Mona Awad. As you can see, I already have these 3 books. I just have yet to read them. The problem is that these are really popular books, and the longer I wait before reading them, the more I learn about them that I prefer not to know before I read them. The second question is, what book have you yet to read because it's a sequel? I want to read This Could Be Us, Skyland Book 2 by Kennedy Ryan, but I need to read before I let go Skyland Book 1 before I can read Book 2. The fourth prompt is, what book have you yet to read because it's brand new? At this time, there's no book I'm holding back from reading because it's brand new. I do want to better balance my Libby borrows with getting brand new books, because a fair amount of the books I borrow on Libby I put holds on, and they're on hold for a long time. And by the time I get them, they've been out a while, and I've generally heard stuff about the book which I prefer not to know. And if I don't finish them within the 21-day limit, I put them back in, and then there's another long hold. So I do have to figure out how to better balance that. The fifth prompt is, what book have you yet to read because you read a book by the same author and didn't enjoy it? When I was a kid, I read some books by Jules Verne, and I enjoyed them. A year or two ago, I was interested in revisiting his works, so I bought on Kindle the collection by Jules Verne, which is a collection of all of his books. I read the first 3 books in the collection. I liked them well enough. Then I got to the 4th, which is From the Earth to the Moon, Extraordinary Voyages number 4, and it was boring. I didn't like the ending at all. So I decided that I may not read any more books from him. I only paid $1.99 for the collection, so I certainly got my money's worth. And it also coincides with I'm not sure I'm going to read as many classics. Last couple of years I read a fair amount of classics, but I'm not really interested in doing that much anymore with there's so many modern books to read. The sixth prompt is, what book have you yet to read because you're just not in the mood for it? I have Say My Name by Chanel Miller. Chanel Miller was the victim in a famous or perhaps infamous SA case. She was SA'd by a Stanford swimmer named Brock Turner. He did get convicted of it, but he got an infuriating short sentence of 4 months. I think the judge said something like he shouldn't have to waste his life or some BS like that. So I've had this book for a while, and I do want to read it. It is an important book. But I know it's going to be difficult, and I think too I'm going to learn some stuff I prefer not to know. I think I've been a little naive that thinking that in essay cases the American justice system was further along than it is, than that they treat victims better and that they don't victim shame. And I think I'm wrong about that. So I think it's going to be a difficult read because I'm going to be forced to confront that I held some naive beliefs. I would say in general I'm thinking less and less of the American justice system, and this is just another book that is going to reinforce those views. I will get to it at some point. I do have the physical copy, but I couldn't find it for this video. I'm not particularly organized. The seventh prompt is, what book have you yet to read because it's humongous? I'd read a little bit of House of Earth and Blood, Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas before I put it down. Not because I didn't like it. As I said, I kind of flip from book to book. The Nook version of this book is 750 pages, so that's humongous in itself. Another issue is that there are multiple books in the series, and most of her books seem to be long. And she also has several series, and I want to try to read the proper books, and I want to try to read the books in the proper order, and I don't know what they are, because I think even different series reference other series. And Sarah J. Maas is a really popular author, but also a polarizing author, and I kind of want to see what all the fuss is about. So I do want to read her books, but at the moment I'm not quite sure where to start. And the length not only of this book that I mentioned, but the other books, is somewhat intimidating. The eighth prompt is, what book have you yet to read because it was a cover by and it had poor reviews? One book that this prompt applies to that was sort of a cover by is Gothicana by Runix. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing the author's name correctly. I didn't buy it based upon much. It wasn't that I saw a bunch of booktubers talk about it and then I bought it. It doesn't have truly poor reviews. It has mixed reviews. It has a 3.78 star average on Storygraph. But I've since heard some concerns. People have it, don't like it. And their main concern is it's a professor-student romance. And that gives me some pause. I am going to read it, but I have some concern about the book now, which when I bought it, I just wasn't based upon much. The ninth prompt is, what is the most intimidating book in your TBR pile? Pat recently read Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. At one point I'd read about 100 pages of the book and then I'd put it down and not picked it up again. But Pat reading it got me interested again, so I think I am going to try to read it at some point. And I have to give Pat even additional credit, not only reading it, but she's going to reread it. On my Nook, which is what you're seeing in the video, it says it has 1,303 pages. So that is a very big book. The 10th prompt is tag some other people. I'm just going to say consider yourself tagged if you watch this video and you like to do this. And if you like to do a video, that's great. I'm sure I'd like to view it. But also, even if you like to answer one or more of those in the comments, I'd be interested in reading your answers to those questions too. If you enjoy this video, please like it, please subscribe, please hit the bell so you're notified when I upload future videos. Hope you have a wonderful day.